I'd like to greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter whether you're the richest or the poorest person on the face of this earth. Doesn't matter whether you're the proclaimed toughest or the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you like me, my YouTube videos, it don't matter whether you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It doesn't matter if you're my family, friends, or my proclaimed enemies. It doesn't even matter whether you are dark-skinned or light-skinned. I greet all of you all with the same universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. The night happened to be February the 24th, 2020. 2020 is the year of the vision. The eye doctor would tell you a 2020 vision is a good vision. Also, tonight happened to be, the time happened to be 9:07 p.m. I'd like to first say, I thank God for giving me a peace of mind and a stable heartbeat. I'd like to thank God for allowing me to be able to raise my 13 and 14-year-old daughters by myself. I thank God for me being able to go up to Chicago October the 14th of 2014 to go get my dad and bring him back down here to have him to live with me and my two daughters. At 92 years old, a World War II honorably discharged veteran who told me his stories in the military when he was drafted in 1945. He told me how he got drafted in a war where they was fighting against Adolf Hitler, white supremacists that was trying to take over the world, that had no regards for blacks nor Jews. But yet he was drafted in the war, and him and other young black soldiers, not just from Charleston, Missouri, but from other parts of the globe. They was dark-skinned people were separated from the white soldiers. But yet my dad still didn't teach us hatred. He didn't teach us to dislike a person because their skin was white. But yet, when he got out of the war, he still seen prejudice, and he still see it today, over 70-something years ago. Now, I'm going to show you all something. Oh, let me say happy 66th birthday to my youngest sister, Gloria. May God bless you to see many more healthy ones and prosperous ones. We love you. Now, I want you to look at this here. Take a good look at it and see who is back. This particular poem of mine, I write poetry, speeches. This particular poem of mine, I written in 1992. The title of it happened to be Mental Slavery is in Effect. You know, some people with closed minds would say this is racism. Some blacks would be too afraid to even comprehend what I'm saying. But I'm going to read it to you. This is one of many poems that I done written during my lifetime and been published. This is the other side of Raymond Lewis Ivy that you all don't know about. Let me say a little prayer first to my Christian brothers and sisters. The Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I should fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. They prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. They anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I should dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Let me say a prayer for my Muslim brothers and sisters all around the world. I'll say it in Arabic, then I would interpret it in English. First, I would like to say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. And to my brother El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, some of you all know him as Malcolm X. Rest in peace. Your legacy, your voice, your message lives on. Power to the people. Awudu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal al-mustaqim. Siratal Latina and Amtam alayhim. Gairil Magdubi alayhim Waladarleen. Amen. I said, I seek refuge with God from Satan, the rejected enemy. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Praise be to God, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds. Most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship, and thy aid we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast restored thy grace. Those whose portion is not wrath, and who go not astray. Amen. So be it. Now let me read this poem. Just pay attention. If you're a racist white, you will say I'm racist. If you're a sellout black or a black that's afraid, you'll say I'm a militant or I'm starting mess. But if you listen to each word, it'll tell you that I don't advocate violence, nor do I encourage hate. The name of the poem is Mental Slavery is in Effect. It's got by Ray L. Ivy, also known as Omar Hakeem Mutakabir. Omar is the long living. Hakeem is the wise. Mutakabir is the independent one. I'm independent of any of these leaders up under any religion. I follow God. Here we go. Attention to all who have ears to hear. Let's stand up and fight for the brothers and sisters who are not here. We know from the beginning of slavery until 1992, there have been thousands of brothers and sisters who lost their lives for me and you. From the moment those oppressors came out of their caves, they've been exterminating people of color or turning them into slaves. Our sisters and brothers fought and struggled for over 200 years, being beaten and raped while their children lived in fear. That was physical slavery when we were forced to work on our knees and our hands, cleaning the oppressor houses and taking care of their land. Although we have been freed from those chains of steel, the oppressor offered us a brand new deal. They gave one group of us as much dope as we could stick with as they could, as long as we promised to sell it in our own neighborhoods. They gave another group as much dope as they could stand, as long as they promised to keep murdering their own brother man. So wake up, my sisters and brothers, to the oppressor's new plan. They are attempting to brainwash us into believing that we are subhuman. What happened to John F. Kennedy in 1963 could very easily happen to you and to me. What happened to Malcolm X in 1965 is just one way the oppressor divide us and conquer our lives. What happened to Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968 made us destroy black businesses and black real estate. After the oppressors knew they had us back in the dark, they returned in 1969, murdering Black Panther leaders Fred Hampton and Mark Clark. Before I continue, let me get one thing straight. I don't advocate violence, nor do I encourage hate. As for those who claim I only speak up for blacks, you have a lot of nerves, but intelligence you undoubtedly lack. I speak up for oppressed people all around the world, be you black or white, boy or girl. So when you hear this message, keep a positive and open mind, so the oppressors can't seduce you into mental slavery. It's worse than doing time. I am a very peaceful brother living the life of El Islam. But when the oppressed are dealt with violently, it is time to cause bodily harm. Please allow me to tell you precisely what I mean. If you use violence against us, we will use against you the same thing. In other words, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. If you attempt to harm us, we will surely harm you. Now, those who read the Bible should know what that means. Ecclesiastes 1-8 tells you how to deal with the above mentioned things. So those who hear this message, I hope they comprehend, because the time has come to change these unjust laws and bring the oppressor to his final end. What inspired me to write this message was accumulation of many things, especially the not guilty verdict for the police beating of Rodney King. For many of you, that verdict came as a great surprise, but others, such as I, knew what time it was. We've been victimized by the system throughout our lives. It was truly a blessing to hear some good news coming out of South Central LA. The Crips and the Bloods united the other day. Now that they know who their enemy is, they have ceased killing each other and bringing their loved ones to tears. This is something to celebrate for many months. Let this motivate us to further organize. In time, we could form our own united front. All you politicians and celebrities who claim you support our cause, start contributing money to our neighborhoods, and don't forget those sisters and brothers who are unjustly behind prison walls. Yes, I am a convict doing hard time. For shooting my attackers, they call that a crime. Just like most of those behind the prison walls, my money for legal fees ran short and I was forced to take a fall. There is something wrong with this system. It incarcerates mostly Hispanics and blacks. It is money in a fair justice system that we lack. We all know and have seen how the system works with our own eyes. It is just like a wolf dressed in sheep clothes, a devil in disguise. Now that the alarm has been set off in 1992, I refuse to be in mental slavery. How about you? They can take these laws back to England and the oppressor back to his cave. No, we won't stand for this injustice anymore, nor will we become mental slaves. Singing "We Shall Overcome" is not the solution. Rather, we should sing with Sister Tracy Chaplin. She's talking about a revolution. As there is always a beginning, there must be an end. If you are not for the cause, then you can't be a friend. My sisters and brothers, let's deal with this in a constructive and positive way by forming our own united front in such a way that it is here to stay. I leave you as I came, with the peace and blessings of God. For those of us who struggle for righteousness, we will beat all odds. Peace, be still.